Hello everyone. We'll start with your next numerical for flexibility matrix method. Okay. In this numerical we'll consider one overhang portion that is given here. Overhang portion CD over there. Now a continuous beam ABCD is given to you. Support A is fixed, B is your roller support and C is also your roller support here. And CD part is overhang over here. Loading between AB portion is different UDL and between B to D portion is different over here. So how we have to consider this? That will see EI value is constant for this. That is not given. So we'll assume that EI will be constant. So we'll start with the solution that will be calculating first DS values over here. So DS it is completely equal to R minus 3. R is total number of reactions. So we'll calculate that total number of reaction at point A, fixed support it is 3. Here we are having one reaction at roller support and again one reaction at your roller support. So that comes equal to total 3 plus 1 4 plus 1 5. So total R I am getting as 5. 5 minus 3 I will get equal to 2. That means I have to assume 2 reactions out of these 5 as the redundant reactions, or these will be your excess constants here, right? So what I'll do, I'll consider or I'll assume first redundant as R1 is equal to RB in upward direction and second reaction as R2 is equal to RC again in the upward direction. So what I have done, I have assumed these two as my redundant reactions over there, that is R1 and R2 here. Okay, that is vertical reaction at point B and vertical reaction at point C over here. Now from this we have to draw your moment diagrams over there. So capital M diagram will draw. In capital M diagram we'll remove this constants from this point A, B, C, and here I am having point D over there, and I'll keep loading given to you as it is. So this is your 6 kilonewton per meter. Here you are having 10 kilonewton per meter, 5 meter, 4 meter and 2 meter over here. Okay, so this diagram will be your capital M diagram. That is, we have to remove the excess redundants from this. Now I'll draw small M1 diagram. In small M1 diagram what we do, we remove all the applied loads from this and we apply a unit load at your first coordinate. So first coordinate I have to assume that's at point B over there. So what I'll do, I'll apply R1 is equal to 1 at your point A. Sorry, point B. Okay, so this will be your small M1 diagram. Next I'll draw small M2 diagram here. A, B, C and D. In small M2 diagram what you have to do, you have to assume unit load at your second redundant point. So second redundant point I have assumed as point C over there. So I'll mark here vertical reaction at point C, that is R2 is equal to positive 1 over here. Remaining loading will be removed from this. So I have marked here R2 and this will be my small M2 diagram. So these three diagrams I have got here, capital M, small M1 and small M2 diagram. Now we'll solve for your moment table. Okay, so in moment table first column that you have is the portion, second column is origin or x is equal to 0 at, next is your capital M diagram values, next is small M1, small M2 and last is the limits of integration which you have to solve, or the boundary conditions you can say. Right, so we'll start from which side, that side which has minimum number of reactions over there, that is from point D we'll start. Okay, redundancy you have to assume in such a way that your complete support gets removed. I have told you earlier. Okay, so that makes your this moment table convenient to you. Okay. If you assume this redundant anyhow, suppose these three reactions are given to you assume one redundant from this and one redundant from this, so your moment table may get disturbed over here. You cannot do the calculation, so that becomes a complex structure. So I have told you that redundancy you have to assume in such a way that your complete support from that point gets removed over there, or your that point gets completely free from the support or reactions over there. Okay, in that way you have to assume the redundant. So we'll start from your first portion. So first portion is my DC here. Okay, I'll assume D as my origin. Okay, so that means what? In all the sections between these portions DC, my x distance will be from point D, that is x is equal to 0 will be at your D. So D will be your origin point. So I am cutting this section at a distance x from point D in portion CD over there. Okay, so here you have to take moment of all the forces between this. So here you are having acting UDL of x distance over there. Okay, so moment of that acting UDL of 10 kilonewton meter, 10 kilonewton per meter for this x portion CD, that will be how much? So UDL you have to convert it into first point load. So point load conversion is what? Intensity of UDL multiplied by its acting length. Acting length is here equal to x over there. So that comes here 10 into x, right, into where this will act at the half of this acting length. So that will come equal to x by 2, and that moment is clockwise. So it will come positive in nature. So this I'll get as 10 into x, that will become x square divided by 2. So I'll write this as 5x square. Right? Next, same way in your small M1 diagram, here you are not having any force. So this value will become 0. Same way in this portion M2 also diagram, here you are not having any loading between this section to origin point. Here also your that value will become 0 over here. Limits of integration, D to D distance that will remain 0, to D to C distance that is equal to 2. So limits of integration are coming here equal to 0 to 2 over there. Right? Now we'll move to our next portion, that is portion CB. Origin point, I'll keep D as it is. So limits of integration will be what? D to C distance that is equal to 2, to D to B distance that is your 4 plus 2, 6. So limits of integration will be 2 to 6 over here. Now what I'll do, I'll pass this section in my selected portion CB over there, which is at a distance x from origin point. Origin point I have selected D, so your x will be now from point D. Okay, I'll cut such type of section in all these 3 diagrams. Okay, it is done. Now sorry, values of moment over there. In capital M diagram we will see same UDL you are having at a distance x again. So 10 multiplied by x, that is intensity of UDL multiplied by its acting length. So I'll get again 10 into x, right, into where this will act at the half of this x by x, that is it will come again x by 2, and that moment is clockwise. So again it will come positive. So I'll get this as 5x square. See, we have not changed the origin, that is why your this value is getting repeated again. If you keep C as your origin, then what will happen? Your total length will be this one. So total UDL length, that will be how much? 10 into this will be your x plus 2 meter. So that will come x plus 2 into where this will act, that the half of x plus 2 square. Sorry, x plus 2 by 2. So this value will come 5x plus 2 square divided by 2. Okay, so that way if you keep the origin same as it is, your values will get repeated and your table will not become complex order. So I prefer you do not change the origin. Right? Now see, in M1 diagram, D to the section you are not having any loading over there. So again this value M1 will become 0 here, right? But here you can see now loading of 1 is acting here in M2 diagram. Loading of 1 is acting here. So that loading of 1 will be considered over here. So moment of this one along this section, that will be 1 into this will be its perpendicular distance now, right? So this perpendicular distance will be how much? X minus this length CD equal to 2. So that comes here by x 1 into x minus 2 over there, and that loading is my anti-clockwise in nature. So that is why I am writing here minus. So if we simplify this, I'll get this as 2 minus x. Okay. So that value I have got 2 minus x. Now last portion is remaining, that is we'll consider the portion BA over here. Okay, again origin point I'll keep same, that is D. So limits of integration, D to B distance, that is your 6, to D to A distance, that is here equal to 2 plus 4 6 plus 5 11. So limits of integration will be from 6 to 11 now. Okay, this is my first portion, second portion. Now we'll see for capital M diagram. You see carefully this, because here you have to mix two UDLs over there. Okay, so see what I'll do. I'll pass this section in this first portion BA at a distance x from my origin point D. Same way here also your section will be passed, and same section will be passed in your M2 diagram also. Okay, so I have done these sections over here. Now you have to take moment of this complete UDL, that is total acting length 4 plus 2 6, and remaining this x minus 6 UDL. See, this length will be your x minus 6 and this length is your complete here 6. So bifurcation of this will be x will be equal to x minus 6 plus 6. So that becomes again x over here. So you have to take moment of this 10 kilonewton per meter and moment of this 6 kilonewton per meter along this pass section over there. So you have to take moment of these two UDLs along this section over here. So for first UDL we'll see, this UDL intensity total 10 multiplied by its acting length is completely 6 over there. Okay, so this UDL is completely acting, and where this will act at the half of this 6, that is somewhere here. Okay, that means at the half of this 6, that will be equal to 3 over here. So your lever arm from this force to this section will be how much? That will come x minus this 3 over here. So 10 into 6 into x minus 3 will be your moment of this 10 kilonewton per meter UDL over there. See, again I'll repeat. Moment of this UDL you have to take along with this section over there. Okay, so moment of this UDL, so first we'll convert it into force intensity. So intensity, how it will convert? UDL intensity multiplied by its acting length. So UDL intensity is 10 and its acting length is total 6 meters over here. So that comes here 10 into 6, and where this will act at the half of this 6, somewhere here it will be acting. Okay, this 10 into 6 will be acting at the half of this 6, that is at a distance 3 meter and 3 meter over here. Okay, so lever arm of this converted force up to this section, that will come equal to x minus 3. So 10 into 6 into x minus 3, that will be your moment coming to this section over there. Now you have to consider moment of this UDL remaining, that is 6 kilonewton per meter. So that moment will get added to this. So moment of this is your length is x minus 6 over there. You have to convert it into force intensity. So force intensity will be converted as UDL intensity multiplied by its acting length. So that comes here 6 as my UDL intensity multiplied by acting length is x minus 6, and where this will act at the half of this x minus 6, somewhere here. So your lever arm will be how much? That is half of this x minus 6. So I'll get this as x minus 6 divided by 2 over here. So this is converted as equal to 60 into x minus 3 plus 6 divided by 2. This I'll get as 3 into x minus 6 square over there. Okay, so if you simplify this by squaring this term to this, I'll get final answer as 3x square plus 24x minus 72 over there. Okay, so that will be your obtained moment in your capital M diagram. Now same way you have to pass this section in for M1 and M2 moment also. So here I am having this section, again loading of 1 is here. So lever arm for this will be 1 into x minus 6. So this value will get repeated. No, it will not get repeat. So that will come 1 into x minus 6, and that will be your anti-clockwise. So this will come negative over there. So if you solve for this, I'll get as 6 minus x, right? Next, in your M2 diagram, what I'll get? Moment of this, again 1 along this section. So I'll get this as 1 into x minus 2. So here this value will get repeated again. That is, here I'll get 2 minus x over there. So that gives me my complete moment table over here. Okay. Now further, we'll see for your unknown values over there. Okay, so for that our basic equation is d is equal to dr plus f into r. Okay, so again for d values there are no any displacements given to you, given displacements are 0. So here we are having only two redundants, so d1 and d2 values both will remain again equal to 0 over there. Now we'll see for your second values, that is dr1 value. Okay, so this matrix is completed. We'll continue for dr1. Dr1 that is equal to m into m1 into dx divided by ei over there. Okay, that means you have to multiply your first and second column over there. Now multiplication of for first portion, that will come 0 because m1 is 0 here. Same way for second portion also it will be 0. Only third portion is remaining over there, that will give you the value. ei is constant, so I'll write 1 upon ei outside of the integration sign, right? Integration of limits of integration for BA portion, those are from 6 to 11. M value 3x square plus 24x minus 72 multiplied by 6 minus x into dx over there. Okay, so if you solve this for dr1, I have got dr1 is equal to minus 5218.75 divided by ei. Okay, you check this value, how much you are getting, 5218.75 upon ei. Same way dr2 will calculate. Now dr2 will be equal to integration of m into m2 into dx upon ei over there. So again ei is constant for all the portions, so that way I'll take constant over here. Now you have to multiply m into m2. So for first portion that will become 0. We'll solve for second and third portion. So for CB you are having that 5x square into 2 minus x. Integration limits are from 2 to 6. 5x square into 2 minus x into dx plus for third portion, that is BA, you are having integration limit 6 to 11 and values are m value is 3x square plus 24x minus 72 into your m2 value, that is again 2 minus x into dx over there. Okay, so if you solve this for dr2 value, I have got dr2 is equal to minus 13225.41 upon ei. Okay, you check these values. If you found any difference in these values, you please comment over there. I'll solve these values for you again, right? So here dr1 and dr2 is done. Now next we'll solve for f matrix. So again two redundants we are having, so that will be f of 11, f of 12, f of 21 and f of 22 over here. Okay, so for those values we'll see first for direct flexibility, f of 11 integration of m1 into m1 into dx divided by ei over there. Okay, so m1 into m1 you have to multiply m1 twice over here. So for first it is 0, second portion is also 0, for third portion it is 6 minus x within limits 6 to 11. So what I'll get, 1 upon ei constant, integration of limits of integration 6 to 11, that I am getting 6 minus x into 6 minus x, that will become 6 minus x square into dx. So from this I have got f of 11 is equal to 41.67 upon ei over there, positive, right? Next I'll solve for direct second flexibility, f of 22, that is your integration of m2 into m2 into dx divided by ei. So again 1 upon ei is constant into integration limits. Now we'll solve for portions over there. For first portion DC, that value is 0. For CB I am getting 2 minus x within limits of integration 2 to 6, and for BA I am having again 2 minus x within limits of integration 6 to 11. So here I'll get 2 minus x into 2 minus x, so that will become 2 minus x square within limits 2 to 6 plus next is from 6 to 11 2 minus x square into dx again. So this I have got f of 22 is equal to 243 upon ei. This is your f of 11 value, this will be your f of 22 value over here, right? Now I'll solve for indirect flexibility, that is f of 12 and f of 21 over here, that is integration of m1 into m2 into dx upon EI over here. So again 1 upon EI is constant into integration of, see here, for M1 and M2 multiplication, first portion will be 0, second portion will be again 0, only third portion is remaining. So 6 minus x into 2 minus x within limit 6 to 11. So within limit 6 to 11, 6 minus x into 2 minus x into dx. So this value I have got f of 1 2 is equal to f of 2 1 equal to 91.67 divided by EI over there. Okay, so this will be my flexibility coefficients over there. Now I'll substitute all these values in our basic equation. So for first that d values d1 and d2 both are 0 is equal to dr1 and r2 values, those I have calculated. I have taken 1 upon EI common from that I have got as minus 5218.75 upon EI and minus 13225.41 upon EI. So I'll write those over here, minus 5218.75 upon EI and 13225.41 negative plus flexibility coefficients, again 1 upon EI. First f of 1 I have got that as 41.67, f of 1 2 91.67, again 91.67, and f of 2 2 I have got as 243 over there multiplied by r1 and r2. Okay, so I'll get two equations from this. Okay, two equations I am getting. The first equation I'll get that as row multiplied by column. Okay, here I'll write that equations. Okay, here itself I'll write 41.67 of R1 plus 91.67 of R2, that is 41.67 of R1 plus 91.67 of R2. This EI here it is 0, so that will get 0, and this 5218.75 after going to LHS that will become positive. So this I am getting as plus 5218.75 as equation number 1 over there. Now same way second equation I will get as 91.67 of R1 plus 243 of R2 is equal to 13225.41 as my equation number 2, row multiplied by column. So 19.67 into R1 plus 243 into R2 is equal to 13225.41. that will be my equation number 2. I'll solve these two equations simultaneously for the values of R1 and R2. Okay, R1 that we assumed as your redundant force equal to RB, and R2 we assume as redundant force equal to RC over there. So R1 that will give me the value of RB, and R2 that will give me the value of RC over there. So if you solve these two equations simultaneously, I have got R1 is equal to 32.38 kilonewton positive. That means your assumed direction is upward. That is correct. It will be acting in upward itself. And R2 that I have got as 42.20 kilonewton again positive. So that also means your assumed directions are correct over there. So both of these R1 and R2 are acting in upward direction over there. Now if you substitute this R1 and R2 in your basic beam over there, so your beam will be converted to determinate structure now. So I'll draw that final diagram here. Okay, A, B, here I am having point C and D over here. This is my 5 meter, 4 meter and 2 meter over there. This UDL I have got, I am having 6 kilonewton per meter, and this is your 10 kilonewton per meter. While as these two values I have obtained, that is R1 or RB is equal to 32.38, and this value I have got as 42.20 over there. Okay, now your beam is converted to determinate structure. So what I'll do, I'll solve for your remaining reactions over there. So these three reactions, vertical reaction at point A, horizontal reaction and moment over there. If you see there is no any other horizontal force, so this HA will directly become 0. Okay, so we'll solve for this RA or VA you can say, and MA over there. Okay, so first I'll solve for moment. Summation of moment at A is equal to 0, treating clockwise moments positive. So what I'll get this this anti-clockwise moment minus ma plus moment of this UDL along this section along this point A over there. So that gives me intensity of UDL, that is 6, acting length is 5, and where it will act at the half of this 5. So lever arm will be 5 by 2. So I'll get this as 6 into 5 into 5 by 2, and that is your clockwise moment, so it will come positive. Next, moment of this RB, that will come anti-clockwise, 32.38 into lever arm will be its 5 meter. Okay, now this remaining UDL, so that will be clockwise moment plus intensity of UDL 10 multiplied by its acting length is completely 4 plus 2, that is 6, multiplied by where this will act at the half of this 6, that is somewhere here, that means at a 3 meter distance from point B and 3 meter distance from point D over there. So its total length, right? So its total length, that is lever arm up to point A, will be how much? 3 meter plus this 5 meter, so that comes here equal to 8. Okay, and that is positive moment minus 42.20. Moment of RC will be anti-clockwise, so it is negative. 42.20 into 5 plus 4, that will remain equal to 9 is equal to 0. Okay, so from this I have got MA is equal to 13.228 kilonewton meter, and positive I have got, that means my assumed direction is again correct. MA is acting in anti-clockwise direction over there, right? Same way I'll calculate summation of Fy, upward forces positive is equal to 0. So what I'll get from this, Ra minus this UDL 6 into 5 plus 32.38, that is RB value, minus this UDL 10 into 4 plus 2, that is 6, plus this RC value 42.20 is equal to 0. From this RA I am getting 15.412 kilonewton, and again positive, that means assumed direction is again correct. RA is also acting in upward direction. So I'll note these two values. RA I have got as 15.412 and MA I am getting as 13.228 over there. Okay, so your complete reactions are analyzed here. That means you are free to draw shear force and bending moment diagrams over here. Okay, I will draw directly your shear force diagram over here. Point A, B, C, and up to here it is D. This is your excess part. So this is my 5 meter, 4 meter, and this is my 2 meter over there. Now see, at point A you are having this RA acting in upward direction, so that will give me a positive shear force at point A, right? So shear force at point A will be how much? That will give me directly 15.412 over here. Okay, next we'll calculate shear force at point B, just to the left hand side over there, right? So shear force at point B will be how much? This positive shear force minus this negative UDL over there. So negative UDL is 6 into 5, that is 30. So 15.412 plus minus 6 into 5, that is 30, that I get as minus 14.588, that will be your shear force at your point B to the left hand side, 14.588 over there. Okay, and these two lines or these two shear force point will be joined by an inclined line over there. Getting? Now shear force at B just to the right over there. Okay, so whatever this negative shear force I am getting 14.588, in that this positive reaction will get added. So minus 14.588 plus 32.38 will give me positive shear force of 17.792 here. Okay, that is your shear force just to the right of B. Next, shear force just to the left of C. How much it will be? This whatever positive shear force I have got 17.792 minus this 10 into 4, that is 10 into 4, 40 UDL will get subtracted to that, that is negative shear force it will be. So 17.792 minus 10 into 4, that is 40, I will get as negative shear force equal to 22.20. That is my negative shear force at points just to the left of C. So again these two shear force points will get joined by an inclined line over there. This is inclined line, just for the convenience you understand that. Okay, now we'll calculate shear force just to the right of C. What will happen? Pass this section to the right of C. So whatever this negative shear force, I have got this minus 22.20. In that this positive reaction will get added plus 42.20. So minus 22.20 plus 42.20 will give me the positive shear force at this point C, that is 20. And then that will get 0 to this point D over here. So these are my positive shear forces values and this will be my negative shear force values. Okay, so this is my complete shear force diagram over here. Now if you see between portion AB and portions BC, you are getting 2 points of counterflexures here. Counterflexure points means point which has 0 shear force over there. So we'll find out these 2 points length over there. Suppose this is at a distance x over here. So this remaining length will be how much? That will become total is 5. So 5 minus x. Okay. So from symmetry of triangles, we'll calculate this. So how much you'll get? 15.412 divided by x. That is height of this triangle first. This I'll treat as my first triangle. Okay. So height of the first triangle 15.412 divided by its length x is equal to height of my second triangle, this one. That is equal to 14.588 divided by its length will be 5 minus x. You do the cross multiplication and solve for the value of x. X I am getting equal to 2.56 meters. This x value I am getting equal to 2.56 meters. So 5 minus x will be 5 minus 2.56 something 2.44 I'll get almost. Okay. Now same way I'll solve for this second point of counterflexure also. Suppose this is at a distance of y here. Okay. So this length will be how much? Total is your 4. So 4 minus y. Again same using symmetry of triangle. These two triangles will use. This will be your first triangle and this will be your second triangle here. Okay. So for first triangle, height of triangle is 17.792 divided by its length is y is equal to height of second triangle, that is your 22.20 upon 4 minus y over there. Okay. So here do the cross multiplication and solve for the value of y. I have got y is equal to 1.78 meters over there. So this y I am getting equal to 1.78 meter. So this remaining 4 minus y will be 4 minus 1.78. Okay. So this 2 point of counterflexures we have done. That means we have to calculate the bending moment values at these 2 points over there. Okay. Now we'll go for bending moment calculations further. Because you have to draw the bending moment diagram also. Now bending moment at point A we'll see first. Okay. So bending moment at point A, we have to pass this section at point A. So whatever moment is acting at this point A, that will be what? It will be your hogging moment here. So that I'll get as moment at A is equal to minus 13.228. That is your MA value. All these values are in kilonewton meter. Okay. Next, in the same way, I'll calculate moment at this my first point of counterflexure. That is here I'll write as moment at X point. Okay. So moment at X is equal to somewhere here you are having X value, that at a distance how much? X is equal to 2.56. So you have to take moment of all the forces from point A to this X point over there. Okay. So moment of RA will be there, moment this MA and moment of this UDL will be acting along this section. So one by one we'll see. First, moment of this moment will be your hogging moment. So that will be minus 13.228 plus moment of RA along this section, that will be a sagging moment, sections left hand side, that is a clockwise moment. So that will be a sagging moment, that comes 15.412 into X length, that is equal to 2.56. Next, moment of this X part UDL, that will be your hogging one. So that will get again minus. So that length will be how much? Intensity of UDL is 6 multiplied by its acting length is 2.56, and where this will act at the half of this 2.56, that is lever arm will be half of 2.56. So I'll write here 2.56 divided by 2 here. So if you solve this, I have got that I am getting 6.56 over there, positive 6.56. Next I'll calculate bending moment at point B. So at point B, moment first, that is hogging moment minus 13.228 plus moment of RA 15.412 into up to B its length is complete 5, right, minus moment of this UDL, that will be 6 into acting length is 5 into where it will act at the half of this 5, so 5 by 2. So moment at B point I am getting 11.168 kilonewton meter, and that I am getting as negative here, that is hogging one. Now next I'll calculate moment at my second point of contraflexure, that is Y here. So here I'll write bending moment at point Y. Okay, so somewhere here you are having Y point, that is from B it is located at 1.78 meters over there. Okay, so from B at 1.78 meter, somewhere here I am having Y value. Okay, so you have to take moment of all the forces along this section again, right? So moment at Y, first MA, that will be minus 13.228, right, plus moment of RA along that section, that will be a sagging one, so 15.412 into length will be how much, this 5 plus this 1.78, so that will become 6.78 over there, minus moment of this first UDL, so that is your 6 into its acting length is 5 into where this will act at the half of this 5 over there, that means 2.5 meter from point B. So total length of this force up to this section is how much, 2.5 plus 1.78. So I'll write here 2.5 plus 1.78 over there. Okay, next moment of this RB will be also there, so that will be your sagging moment, so plus 32.38, that is RB value, multiplied by its length up to this section, that is 1.78 again, right? And what is remaining now, this UDL part is remaining, that is hogging moment. So again minus intensity of that UDL is 10 into its acting length is 1.78, right, and where this will act at the half of this 1.78, so that will become 1.78 divided by 2. So this gives me my complete moment. See, this is your moment of MA, this is your moment of RA, this is your moment of UDL of 6 kilonewton per meter, right? This is the moment of RB, and this is the moment of next UDL of 10 kilonewton per meter over there. Okay, so this gives me total bending moment value at point Y is equal to plus 4.65 kilonewton meter. You can check this value over there, right? Now only last point is remaining, that is point C over there, because bending moment at point D will become eventually 0. So what I'll do, instead of going from A to C, this will give me more calculations over there. I'll try to solve it from D side over there. Okay, so bending moment at point CLC, right? So for point C, here you have to take moment of this UDL over there, so that will be how much, intensity of this UDL is 10 into 2, and where it will act at the half of these 2, that is 1 meter, so that will be 10 into 2 into 1, and that will be a hogging moment, so it will come negative, that is minus 20 kilonewton meter over there. So these all moments I am getting here. Now what I'll do, I'll plot my bending moment diagram. Point A, B, C, and here it is point D over there. At point A, I am having value minus 13.228. Okay, next at point X, I am having that as 6.56, but I'll first plot at the support points over there. At B, I am having that minus 11.618 over there. Okay, so this I have got minus 11.618. Then at C point, I am having that as minus 20. Okay, now after that at point X I am having a positive moment of 6.56, positive, that will be on the upward side. So X is somewhere here, X is somewhere here, right? So from that X value, that is 6.56, so somewhere here that will be 6.56 over there. And next at point Y I am having again plus 4.65, that is positive moment. X is somewhere, Y is somewhere here, so this value I am getting equal to 4.65 over there. Okay, now you are having UDL, so in bending moment diagram it will follow a parabolic path. So how this will be joined? And at point D this moment will become 0 over here, and this will be your positive sagging moments, and this will be your negative hogging moments over there. That will give me bending moment diagram here final. This diagram is called as your bending moment on the tension side always, because here we see tension and compression side. Tension side is which one and compression side is which one over there. Okay, somewhat hectic it was because your bending moment calculations was very long due to UDL, and those were of two different intensities. That is why I have taken this numerical, which will give you the complex loading. Okay, so we can conclude this numerical here by drawing the bending moment diagram over here. Okay, if you are having any queries regarding any values, if you are not getting those values, sometimes my values also may come wrong, your values may be correct over there. Okay, at that time also you can comment me. Okay, thank you.